Hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 New Dawn run. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're playing another character that I think is significantly impacted by the ability to ban items, the Engineer. Engineer, of course, is looking for very specific items. Since our damage modifiers are halved, we don't care about most damage items, and instead just want structures and things that boost structures. So being able to ban items makes this character significantly stronger, because we're going to find the items and weapons that we want more frequently. We're gonna start with a wrench here. Usually I think that's the best weapon to start with for Engineer, though I do like to use a mixture of wrenches and screwdrivers, just to give us a little bit more reach around the field. The Engineer's structures all spawn in the same spot, which is both an advantage and a disadvantage, because it makes it easier to defend yourself, because all your structures are DPSing enemies that get close to you if you stand inside them. But also, it makes it so that you have less reach around the field, so you're not killing enemies over on the other side. I could take the engineering here, but I think I'm still just going to roll for harvesting. I'll spend up to 6 looking for harvesting here, and we did in fact find some. We'll also lock a bag, buy a screwdriver, and goat skull I'm just going to go ahead and ban. We're really looking to just ban all of these just pure damage items, because that's not what this character is doing at all. We'll roll here, we'll lock a duct tape for more engineering, of course. Buy a screwdriver and roll, buy another screwdriver and roll, and lock a wrench. And I would say that was a basically ideal first shop. We got to ban 2 items that we didn't want, lock 2 items that we did want, and pick up a bunch of weapons. So we only have 2 turrets right now, so they're not great at keeping us alive, but we should be able to make decent money. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to that tree. There was a tree in the top right corner that I just caught briefly out of the corner of my eye. I don't think we're going to be able to get it, so I decided to just focus on killing enemies. Here I'm going to re-roll. I'll take 10 luck. I would prefer harvesting, but when you get a level 2 luck upgrade, it's just a huge economy boost, so really nice to get that. And then here we'll buy a wrench and a screwdriver. In general, when you're combining wrenches and screwdrivers, you want to level your your screwdrivers preferentially, because the number of landmines that you get from higher level screwdrivers is basically the same as multiple lower level screwdrivers, or even better in the case of combining to level 4. Whereas wrenches, you just want more turrets on the battlefield, so we're pretty happy to just level our screwdrivers and have more of our weapon slots contain wrenches. This character, of course, is going to need to get defensive stats, but right now we're in great shape. We've got good early economy, and we've got good weapons. We've banned some items we don't want. I'm going to roll again. I'm still looking for more harvesting. We are getting a little unlucky trying to find harvesting. I guess I'll take a +3 engineering here, and then I don't care about crit chance at all. Attack speed is useful for the Engineer, both because we want our weapons to attack enemies and push them away, and also because we might find improved tools, which would benefit from that. So I guess I'll take 5% attack speed. Kind of unlucky rolls in terms of finding our early harvesting, but that's okay. I'll take the bag, and here I'm going to combine to a level 3 screwdriver and buy another wrench, and we'll leave the duct tape locked, and oh, I guess I said I banned 2 items. We only banned 1. I'll lock the turret here. Feather, I think we're never buying probably, so I'll just go ahead and ban that. And I'll do 1 more reroll to try to lock another weapon, which we will. And then we'll ban white flag because we're never buying that garbage item. White flag is probably not as good a ban as a level 1 item because it's less likely to show up, but psychologically it feels better because then you never have to see it again. When you're using a mixture of wrenches and screwdrivers, your actual attacks from the screwdrivers remain decent damage, so we should be able to kill at least one of those curse aliens, and our turrets and mines will take care of killing a bunch of other stuff, so we didn't sacrifice any money for that. Very happy to get some more harvesting here, and then we'll ban injection. We don't want to buy damage at half rate, so this is really nice because we get to ban an item, buy 3 items, and take a free reroll because we emptied the shop out. Then we'll roll here, We're never using lifesteal, so I'll ban the fresh meat. I will buy the propeller hat, and this is a build that could use piggy bank pretty easily, so I think we will lock that. This character's pretty strong early. All we need right now is just some HP, but our turrets will take care of the damage early on, so the piggy bank, we will easily be able to save enough money to make use of it. I'm gonna go get another curse alien kill. Try to push enemies into my turret, so you can use the knockback from the wrenches to push enemies into the field of your structures. Especially useful with high health enemies like curse aliens, though obviously that one died right away, or loot aliens. Using your knockback in order to make sure that your turrets DPS enemies is very important. Really lucky to get 2 crates, because we had a bag already, and then one of them containing a bag is the best case scenario. A tree is also amazing, so really good drops there. We'll take some harvesting, and then I'll take 10 more luck. Going up to 30 luck already is also really nice. Let's go ahead and buy the piggy bank, and then... So I could buy the Peaceful Bee, I could lock it, and just start gaining money with piggy bank. I'm definitely banning the lens. I think I'm going to lock the Peaceful Bee and do 1 reroll to try to lock some weapons, and we'll ban Mutation. Defective Steroids, I think I will not ban, but also not lock, because I do potentially want to buy HP. But here I'm just going to save some money this shop in order to boost my piggy bank income as quickly as possible. Ideally, we want to get to like 500 piggy bank income very soon so that I can start buying items again, because if I don't buy items in the next couple waves, then we will be too far behind. But this character is strong enough in terms of our damage output right now that we can definitely get away with not buying items for at least a little bit. Go over here and we'll kill these 2 trees, get our heal, come back and pick up some more materials. We would love to get a baby gecko or an alien tongue to pick up materials more easily, but we can just stand on the other side of our turrets from the enemies, and they will take care of all the enemy kills for us. Here, I will just take 15 attack speed, and then baby elephant is more interesting than it normally is on the engineer, because we've actually got 30 luck, so even though it's hard for us to buy damage, the baby elephant is pretty nice. And you can see the impact of the bans is that we are finding items like this turret much more quickly than we would otherwise, because we've banned a bunch of level 1 items, so turrets and landmines, things like that we really care about, are going to show up more frequently. I think I won't ban the baby elephant, but I won't lock it here either. Because I do think we can do better with that last shop slot. I would love to be able to buy all 4 items next shop, because we're already up to 400 materials, and so we should be able to save a decent amount and still buy all 4 of the items in the shop in the next shop, most likely. Normally for a structure build, these healer waves, like wave 7, are really bad, because your damage is typically dealt in little bits all across the field, but it's not quite as bad for the engineer, because our damage is much more concentrated since all our turrets spawn together. Also note that although the game says your structures spawn together, that's slightly misleading, because landmines still spawn randomly around the map. Yeah, we'll definitely take a lemonade, that's great, and then 4 more engineering, and then here I'm going to take 9 max HP. My max HP was really poor. Unfortunately, we rolled a weapon, so we can't buy all 4 items here, but let's go ahead and buy out this shop, do a reroll. I want to save, if possible, 500 materials this wave, so I think I'm actually just locking this entire shop, and we'll get really greedy for 1 more piggy bank wave, and that should let us maintain really high income from the piggy bank. And that should translate to many more items by the time we fight the elite than we would have had otherwise. One challenge for the engineer is that incendiary turrets are typically the strongest turret, because they just have the highest DPS. But For the engineer, they're pretty bad because they don't stack. The burning damage from the incendiary turret does not stack in multiples. So you need to be really careful never to have more than 2 or so incendiary turrets on this character, or you're just giving up a lot of damage by having the incendiary turrets target the same enemy and thus completely waste their normally very high DPS. We would love a pocket factory. That would be a really big deal. More engineering and armor, of course, are great there. We actually have 4% dodge, so I could start building dodge. Currently, I have no regeneration, though, so I think I'm just going to take 3 regen, even though it's a lower level upgrade, because we have no healing at all at the moment, and that is going to get really difficult to maintain really fast. Yeah, we'll lock the wrench. We'll buy this bag. Reinforced steel is, I think, actually not worth buying on the engineer usually. Movement speed is an issue for this character, and 3 engineering is just not particularly strong. So I'm just going to reroll once here. We'll lock the tree. I will lock boxing glove as well. Knockback is actually really good with structure builds because your turrets will push enemies away from you. So buying the boxing glove can be pretty helpful. And then we'll save 500 so that we're making another 100 every wave. With Piggy Bank, ideally, you want to increase your principal each wave, but you also don't want to sacrifice buying too many items, so sitting at 500 materials here is pretty good, and we can spend down before we fight the elite in order to make sure that we're not in any danger when we go into the elite wave. I can't remember, actually, if we have an elite first or a horde first. If we have a horde first, we can get greedier with the Piggy Bank, because we won't need to find defensive stats as badly. Make sure to clear the trees. Our luck is pretty decent, so we have a good chance of dropping crates when we kill a tree. Although it didn't happen this time. Here, I think I will just take the 9% dodge. We can start building dodge on this character, and we're very happy to see a lure. Obviously, these are all great items for us, so let's go ahead and combine, and then we will buy out this whole shop, and then we get our free reroll. The level 4 wrench, I think we will take here, because I'm a little worried about my clear speed. So I think I'm going to... Actually, we have a horde first. Let's get really greedy this wave. So I'm going to ban the fuel tank here. And I will buy the screwdriver just to increase our killing power just a little bit. But we're going to save 800 materials for our piggy bank and just get really greedy. Because I have a horde wave first, we can get significantly greedier with the piggy bank and just make way more money as a result of that. I'm not sure. We should, I think, be able to kill the gobbler after it has eaten a bunch of materials. All right, well, it didn't get to grow to level 3, but we still got extra money from it. When you let the gobbler eat materials, it multiplies their value if you then kill it. So if you're confident that you can kill it later in the wave, it's good to let it feast for a bit. You know, try to push the loot alien back and forth across my turret. So making sure to get it, use my knockback to push it into the turret field. You can see there, we were able to clear both loot aliens fairly comfortably just by using the knockback from our weapons. I do want to kill these trees if possible. I did pull all the enemies away from my turrets in the end of that wave, though, going after the trees. We're very happy to get Silver Bullet. This is one, because we're the engineer, so our turret will focus damage on enemies. This character can actually kill elites, which most structure builds can't. I am going to take 6 more dodge here, I think, and then 10 luck is tempting, but I feel like we need defensive stats more, so I'm going to roll. Now that I've got 17 dodge, dodge is actually really valuable for us, so I'm actually going to take 9 dodge over the regeneration. Explosion damage is still good on this character. We've got the wrenches, or we have the landmines, and we have the level 4 wrench for the rocket turret. We do still buy it at half value because all damage modifiers are reduced by 50%. So our Silver Bullet is only giving us 12% extra damage. The Dynamite will only be 7% and so on. But because the numbers are so low at base, those multipliers are very important because when you go from -6 to +7, or to +1, that's a huge increase to your damage overall. I'm going to combine here in order to be able to buy the level 4 wrench, and then I think we'll spend out here a little bit, and we'll take our free reroll. We'll lock a medical turret. Obviously, we don't want the ritual, but I'll lock another dynamite, and we can, again, get pretty greedy with the piggy bank here and go up to 1,000 materials. We got this level 4 turret, so that's gonna basically... And alongside the piercing shots that we got. So that's just gonna clear the horde wave by itself. So I don't need to worry too much about the horde wave at this point. And you can see that the actual damage from our attacks is still relevant even at wave 11. Later waves, we will have to rely entirely on our structures, but for now, the damage from our weapons is still perfectly acceptable in terms of increasing our damage output. One of the interesting things about Brotato and sort of meta commentary on this game and stuff is that you don't actually need that much damage each wave in order to comfortably clear the wave. And so I think people sometimes overbuy damage in this game. I'm going to recycle the ritual here. We don't want to lose engineering, obviously. And then I think I need to start taking regeneration, though. The engineering is really tempting, but we currently have almost no healing. The medical turret will help a lot with that, and then we will upgrade our screwdriver. We'll take a reroll. Capping my max HP at 41 is not good, and we don't use these damage stats very well. On the other hand, I am going to take the ricochet. This is just going to be really fun in the horde wave, and I think we can roll here. I'll lock a peaceful bee. Retrimation's hoodie. I do want additional attack speed still, so I will take the hoodie. And then we're just gonna save our money here. I think we're strong enough with the ricochet and the piercing shots and everything to be able to clear this horde wave very comfortably. So we can stay greeting with the piggy bank. That coral, actually, I should have considered, because this character does actually want to stay motionless for long stretches of time. So, because we're just gonna, like, stand here in the middle of our structures a lot. So, I should have considered buying the coral there. And probably it was right to, actually. You can see we're getting just enough damage from our structures that we're clearing the wave pretty comfortably. I'm not easily able to pick up most of the materials on the field, but we're doing great in terms of our healing and our income. We can try to break these trees before the end of the map, and we did, and so we made great money there. Toolbox, amazing. Mastery, I'm still going to take it. The melee damage does scale our weapon damage a little bit, and it only costs 33, so even at half value, it's still good. Let's roll here, and I'll take 6 move speed. I really want to get to positive move speed. We'll buy Peaceful Bee, Metal. I guess I'm going to buy out this shop. We'll do a reroll, and then I'm going to buy the Fishhook and lock Pocket Factory and Cute Monkey. We're going to greed one more wave, but I'm going to do some rerolls to try to get cursed items, because I have the fishhook. I probably would have spent out a little more there if we didn't roll the fishhook, but since we did, we can potentially use that to get really high value before we go into the elite fight next wave. Ricochet with Incendiary Turret is always so funny, and Incendiary Turret does unfortunately still have the bug where range affects the range of the Incendiary Turret, so because I have Retrimation's hoodie and have reduced my range a lot, our Incendiary Turrets are doing very short-ranged attacks. They're trying their best. You know, it's cold outside. We're in the abyss, so... And again, you can see we're making huge amounts of money every wave. We're up to 1700 now. I'm gonna take the 6 max HP. I really want more regen, but we can spend out fairly aggressively this wave because we're going into the elite wave, and our piggy bank, how much money has the piggy bank gotten us? Already 1,000 materials from piggy bank, so you can see just how efficient it is when you're able to support it. We'll take the wrench here. Now, most builds don't want piggy bank because they can't support it, but this build was strong enough that we could. Cursed wrench is a really nice find. I guess I'll take the spyglass. This is a high economy run, so I think we can use the discount from spyglass. I could combine my wrenches here and get a screwdriver, and I guess I will. And we'll buy these items and then reroll. Get another level 4 screwdriver, buy a propeller hat, roll again. All right, ferry, that's an amazing find. That's exactly what we needed. So I am, again, just going to buy out this whole shop. We'll reroll. I'm going to buy the plant as well. Lock the boxing glove and do one more reroll here because I want to lock a couple fishhook items, but I also do want to maintain at least some piggy bank income at this point. So we spent down to like 300 there. So I have a cursed turret and a couple level 4 turrets. So if I just run the elite through my turret field over and over, it should die. And I can help it along with the occasional screwdriver attack as well. This elite, fortunately, likes to hover in one place, so it's going to be taking consistent DPS from my turrets. One thing that we're missing, actually, is a level 2 turret. Incendiary turret is really good at killing elites because it's just really high single target DPS. I will say that we would be unlikely to have killed the elite in this wave if we weren't using piggy bank. So you can see how effective it is when you're able to make use of its economic bonus. Though I still think that it's an item that you're pretty safe to avoid a lot of the time. I'm going to recycle the gnome here, because on weaker characters, you just can't get as greedy as we did. Here, I'm going to roll, and then I will just take 6 max HP. I really need more armor as well, but we're in good shape there. I'll take all of these items and then do a reroll. Mushroom I'm definitely buying, going up to 28 regeneration. Do I want to buy either of these? I think not. I think I'll just do a free reroll here. And I feel like we can get away with 600 held materials, so I will lock the duct tape, roll. Whetstone I'm going to pass on. I'll buy the cursed screwdriver, and then we'll roll again. All right, we'll try for 500 materials. We'll just lock all these and see if we can get a couple more cursed items. Piggy bank is especially good, as in this run, when you have a horde, or as your first boss wave, and especially if you have 2 hordes, because usually you need to spend down before elite waves, because elite waves are often a stat check. You just need enough DPS and enough defensive stats to be able to kill them. Whereas horde waves, you just need damage, and usually when you're playing a structure build, as long as you have some AoE damage, that'll be sufficient. You don't need to have bought a ton of damage to make it through a horde wave. So for this character, being able to greed through the first horde wave was really powerful. We also, of course, now have ricochet. We have piercing shots. So we're dealing tons of damage across the map all the time, which is awesome. I'm going to recycle the whetstone. I actually don't want to reduce my knockback. All right, our fishhook did go off. We got the cursed duct tape. Let's take the screwdriver here. Now we have a cursed one. Would I rather have a level 4 screwdriver or a level 2 wrench? I think I'd actually rather have the wrench, so I'm just going to sell out of the level 4 screwdriver, and we'll buy the level 2 wrench here, and then roll. The level 1 screwdriver we don't need. I will buy the baby squid, because it's going to give us stats over time. Reroll here. Particle Accelerator does scale with our engineering. It does not do amazing damage, because this character's percent damage is really low. So I think we will pass on that. A little sad, but necessary, I think. And then I'm gonna lock these items. I will lock the ice cube as well. We don't currently, I believe, have a way to deal elemental damage, but we might find a scared sausage or something, and at this point, increasing our DPS is the thing that we need the most. So if we found a scared sausage or a frozen heart, the ice cube would be a huge boost to our damage output. Again, this character can get away with buying items like that don't really do anything in the short term, because we're just really strong at this point in the game. So we have a little more leeway to buy items that either won't pay off unless we get specific rolls, or are only for long-term value. I was hoping I could kill that before the mini-boss spawned. Mini-bosses are pretty dangerous to this character. As you can see, our DPS is still not amazing against single targets, especially if they run around like those guys instead of chasing us into the middle of our turrets. Having the ricocheting shots, though, is helping us clear the wave so much better. I could get bandana, so this would add extra piercing to all of my weapons. We already have 1 pierce, and this would mean they would only be doing, I guess, 12.5% of the base damage, because the bounce from ricochet has a 50% damage reduction on it, and then our piercing shots also have a 50% damage per pierce. So we would only be getting an extra pierce for 12.5% damage, but I think it's still worth taking that. I'll take the Ugly Tooth. Slowing enemies is really good. At this point, I'm going to recycle the wheelbarrow, because armor is one of the only stats we need, so I don't really want to decrease that. And then I'll take the glasses. It can help our poor incendiary turrets, and it gives us a regen. Getting 3 armor there is amazing. We're very happy with that. And then we will buy out this shop, do a reroll. I'll buy the plant and the boxing glove. We're not buying glasses at full price, only because it showed up in the shop and came with a free regeneration. And then I'll lock the recycling machine. I think we will want to buy that before going into the elite wave. And we're going to pass on starfish. There's no need for that for this character. Oh, okay. Well, chain gun I'm definitely taking. And then I will lock this, and I'll lock the peaceful bee, and we'll see if we can get a cursed one of those items. Ideally, a cursed chain gun. So the way that bouncing and piercing works is that ricochet, it doesn't say it on the item, but ricochet has a minus 50% bounce damage penalty. All weapons come with that unless they naturally have bounce. So the ricochet happens first, reducing the next attack by 50%, and then the pierce happens. So the value that you get from pierce is reduced by the ricochet damage. That's why for endless mode runs, you will often see people say, don't ever buy ricochet, because it ruins the piercing damage of your weapons. But for runs like this, where we just need damage across the map, ricochet is still awesome. It does just mean that the bandanas that we bought are a little less effective. Here we got the scared sausage, so now our ice cube is doing great. And then I'll take 9 more max HP. I just need a little more max health. Do I think that... How likely am I to get the cursed chain gun? Probably not likely enough. And this way we'll just kill the elite so much faster. So I'm just going to buy all these items. I'm going to give up on the piggy bank at this point. There's no need to keep using piggy bank. We've already gotten all the value that we want from it. And then we'll lock a bunch more items and roll and roll. Lots of free rerolls here, which is great. And I guess I'll just buy the cake here. Keeping my max HP high before we go into the next wave. And then with our chain gun and all of our structures, we should kill this elite super fast. Which I wanted to do because if we rolled the wrong elite, we could still be at some risk. But with the chain gun, there's no chance that we ever die on this map. And again, you can see like how much stronger our character is than an engineer would have been pre-patch, because being able to ban items for characters like this that are looking for specific early game items is just so powerful. Meant that we found like triple bag much faster, we found a bunch of turrets and landmines much faster, we found engineering items much more reliably in the mid game. Here, I'm going to recycle the wolf helmet, of course, so we're glad we got the recycling machine. We'll take a broken mouth, and I'm going to take 6 dodge. Boosting my dodge to dodge cap is one of the ways that we could make the character stronger. I'm going to recycle this screwdriver, because I want 2 cursed screwdrivers, so I'm going to take that instead of combining. Unfortunately, neither of these wrenches got cursed, so I think I'm just going to roll past them, actually. I don't need a second scared sausage. We will hit enemies often enough that it will always set them on fire for the ice cube, so I just don't really need the second one, but I will buy additional dodge. We'll keep buying knockback. We've actually got 15 knockback, which is awesome. I'll take the helmet here, and the metal is great as well. Then we'll do a reroll, and we'll buy a few more items. I do want a little more movement speed before the end of the run as well. And the lifesteal, now that we have the chain gun, is actually pretty relevant. The one thing this character is missing at this point is we're fairly low on armor, but everything else is going perfectly for us. So you can see just how clean and easy these runs are when you're just more likely to get the items that you want. That being said, I know a lot of people are worried that the game is becoming too easy with the ban system, but the ban system is disproportionately impactful for this character. It makes it easier. And this is a character that's designed for newer players anyways, so I don't mind this character getting easier. And I'm sure that that Evil Empire will have additional difficulty options coming soon. They've just added a bunch of items. Yeah, we'll take all these cursed items, and then we'll roll, and we'll get a level 4 cursed turret. That's great. Get a lemonade here, and roll again. And Diploma obviously would have been awesome, but let's do some rerolls. The chainsaw would have been pretty nice too, and nothing else here. A cursed extra stomach, that would have been pretty sick also. But let's just see if we can kill the bosses with our chain gun. I do still need to be a little bit careful of my health here because our armor is low. So it is very possible for me to die still. You can see that we took 20 damage when I took 1 hit there. Our damage output, because we're a structure build, is still not fast enough to just obliterate the bosses instantly. So although we're in great shape, and I'm not going to say that we're like likely to lose or anything, I did need to be a little bit careful with how I played that wave and how we fought the bosses. But we got there, and this was just an awesome run, super clean. We managed to ban a bunch of items that we didn't want, and that meant that we found, like, I mean, look at the first 5 items that we bought. We had 3 bags, 2 turrets, 2 duct tape, 2 propeller hat, 2 trees. So, you know, these are just awesome items for this character, and we were able to find these powerful level 1 items in multiples because we banned a bunch of other level 1 items that we didn't want. We made 900 materials from our triple bag, which is great. Our turret and pocket factory and everything did 110k damage. Our piggy bank was worth 1,500 materials, so excellent performance from the piggy bank. 50k damage from landmines, and what else? 63 healing from medical turret. Spyglass did not work out. We didn't end up re-rolling often enough, and we found triple dangerous bunny, including a cursed one, and these items do not synergize well, so the Spyglass was a bit of a waste, although range was okay on this character, so the 10 range was fine, but probably shouldn't have bought the spyglass. We ended up with only 9 regen from the baby squids. I guess we didn't have that much additional XP gain, so baby squid still was great. I mean, if each one of these was just an item that said 4.5 regen on it, you would be pretty happy to buy it. And obviously the fairy was great with 19 extra regen. And Scared Sausage was only to proc the Ice Cube, which it did, of course, and everything else. We ended up with plus 15 damage, which, of course, gets reduced to 7.5 damage from the coil. We actually ended up somehow buying just an enormous amount of negative damage on this character, because even at half rate, and even with some items that increase our damage, like coil, we still ended up with minus 15% damage, which is pretty funny. But overall, you can see just how much banning items impacts this character, and using Piggy Bank gave us just a very, very smooth mid-game, because we were able to parlay our early game strength into a huge economy. Alright, my friends, hope that you enjoyed this run, and of course, if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, my friends. I'll catch you next time.